Okay, so this is one of those another another batch of mind-blowing ideas, basically. Here's the statement, and this statement is absolutely true. Criticism should not be allowed in a society. Criticism is bad for the society. If you criticize, you must lose a lot of rights before you apologize properly. And it happens to me as well. If I try to create a lot of drama, and once people catch me criticizing, this is one of those things that I have been told by my friend. Don't be rude. He doesn't understand anything. He just understands there's some kind of thing as rudeness that shouldn't exist in a society. I didn't listen to that necessarily. I was like, rude, but I should be able to tell you, get the fuck, you're a fucking asshole, right? And then he says, if you're being rude, that means that you're trying to get dissociate from that person. And it just hits me right now. He was saying the most true thing I ever heard, actually. It is. You say you're a fucking asshole and you immediately dissociate it. But if you're trying to say that again, you already said that. If the person heard you and they understood what you mean, when you're trying to insult someone, you can only do it once. You're dissociated. You go live your life. There's no relationship anymore. If you got into conflict with your dad, or you don't like something, you just say, "You're a fucking asshole," and you get the fuck out of there. That's how he explained to me, pretty much. Gave me a hint. And it's absolutely true. Because criticism shouldn't happen. If you continue to insult someone, that becomes a criticism. If you continue to say, "You're a fucking asshole," that means there is a specific reason why you don't like them. And it's not just the feeling. Because if you just insult once, well, that's fine. And you can, I don't know about joking on insults. Can you make an insult as a joke? Sort of. But then you kind of have to explain and apologize that you didn't actually meant it that way. Because you can certainly take it as a true insult. So that's totally fine. Do whatever, and you don't necessarily have to take everything literally the first time until someone clarifies that, yeah, I'm being serious and all this crap. But yeah, you gotta listen to me right now, because the thing that I figured out is crazy. Now, how do I explain this even further? So the criticism destabilizes society. Let's say you're being scammed by someone, or someone murders someone else. You cannot judge them. You cannot criticize them. We already have a jury system that does it for you. And one of the biggest key points, they did not consent to criticism. Nobody did. Nobody wants criticism. Nobody consents to it most of the time. Think about it. Nobody wants to be criticized. Fine. We're gonna think that when you murder someone, it's maybe mental illness. We can't tell for sure, right? We can't tell if you really did it on some stupid reasons that you have in your head, or you you were literally criticizing another person to the point where you want to kill them at this point. We don't really know, because you never gave consent of how to tell when you're doing something wrong. You never sign a contract to tell everyone, I will keep my sanity to a certain degree. And if you're not keeping your sanity when you signed up a contract with someone, then you can be criticized. Then you can be disciplined. Think about that. You can certainly be questioned for why you're doing the things that you do. So you have to be very aware. This is a super powerful tool, especially in a world where everyone is offended about everything, because they cannot be. The moment they say, oh, I'm offended, and you haven't criticized them, they are criticizing you, right? If they say they're offended, oh, okay, tell me why are you offended? But I will take it as criticism, and if anything happens, if the criticism continues, it becomes harassment. And harassment, and that's a very interesting thing. I almost deserved to be banned from Antoine's Discord. I almost deserved to be blocked by my friend who gave me this insight, as I stated in the start of the video. I almost deserve all of these things. And wow. Let me write this down. So if someone is harassing you, even if it's online, you have ability to call the police and stop that person. You have absolute rights as you live in a society, in the jungle, as I would say. In this case, I welcomed you guys like for the third time to the same thing with a different name. I see it's a jungle because there's a need to survive. More than ever before, this need has been perpetuated by wars and population explosion. We're still struggling to survive. And this is one of those enforced by the authority. We already kind of learned how to survive, but we never really focused on that as hard as we possibly can, right? The survival has been like exaggerated to a highest degree. And that's where they get their power, I think. Which is almost like a conspiratorial idea that they tricked us to have children so that they get some spiritual power out of this. Now, I don't know. I just know that life is infinite. You live infinitely, and not what science allows you to believe. Science has in fact criticized you. It told you that your life is meaningless and that you should be afraid of death because there's nothing beyond your life that you have gotten. You're lucky to be alive. That's what science says. Imagine that. Imagine that. It's not like as a spirit you have been waiting for this opportunity or working really hard trying to convince God to let you in into this reality, or whatever happened in the spiritual world that allows you to have this amazing opportunity, because it is an opportunity for you to experience life. You cannot just give it up to chance, no matter what. Even if this life is a chance, it's so sophisticated that how the fuck did we go so far? And slavery is still a thing. Because if it's chance, if this life exists because of the chance, then everything is slavery and everything is meaningless. We're basically slaves of some kind of a... it's so weird. It's just so weird. Basically, we would be deceived in a way that life is so sophisticated, but it doesn't have a meaning. It doesn't have an ability. We have an ability to kill ourselves, right? Stop breathing, you start to pass out. If you keep on doing that, you're probably gonna fail some organs and die or something. Amongst many other ways to kill yourself at this point. And killing yourself shouldn't be taken as that serious of a thing, that scary of a thing. It is scary by any means to take something so valuable as life and just throw it away. Like, come on, you can do better than that. You can let other people take your life. You can just go out a limb, do whatever the fuck you want, and then let other people take your life. It's a lot easier when other people take responsibility for that. That's great. I mean, yeah, go out and shoot people if you want. I can't criticize you, remember? I have to encourage every single person to do whatever the fuck they want. This is where it comes to really disgusting truth. And the apocalypse is about as soon to happen. We have been neglecting the idea that people are allowed to do whatever the fuck they want. We have been neglecting that idea. Guess what happens next when people realize that they have a true right to do whatever they want in a society, to embrace whatever they feel like embracing. Obviously, there's going to be consequences, but again, I hope I've proven to you that criticism is bad. Again, one more thing about criticism. Another one of those big things. Criticism attacks good people and is ignored by the bad people. If you criticize bad people, they're just gonna fucking ignore you. Fuck that guy. They're just gonna laugh at you. Criticizing me? You have to be fucking hunting me down right now. If I scammed you or anything. You criticize me out of all things. Imagine if I listened to that. You didn't give consent. That is the statement that you have to remember that supports this one. And the good people, they sort of accept criticism. They're very sensitive, okay? They don't know. And they hurt themselves when they hear criticism. They are being hurt so badly by criticism. And we should be so goddamn aware about this. But once we are aware of this, shit is going to collapse really fucking soon. Like, everything is gonna go to shit. The entire society is gonna turn into a jungle that is supposed to be a demon world or a society. We're gonna see the true face of an apocalypse in a way. It's crazy. Right now we're just trying to survive the criticism that's unrightfully injected into us. Mostly by science, my friends. Mostly by science. This is why I hate science, okay? And I hate science supporters, most importantly. There's nothing tolerable about people who say that your life is meaningless. Like, no, you're not gonna say that. I want to believe what I want to believe. Obviously, science says okay, you can believe what you want to believe, but we're gonna create some slaves here and there. Uh, well, I don't want you criticizing anyone. I don't want anyone to accept criticism. I want to protect good people from themselves, first of all. If they're criticizing themselves, I can criticize them for it. That's when things get very interesting. Like, if they're pointing a gun in their head, I can shoot the gun. I can stop them from killing themselves if I believe in them. If I believe that I can stop them, and I can get away from not getting shot by them. I can criticize them if I see criticism directed to them. I can criticize the criticism. I can attack the attacker. That's what you can do. Go ahead. Feel free to criticize. And perhaps this is one of those things that I've said with rudeness as well. You can be rude with people who are rude. I mean, it's that simple. And as I said, in a world where people are being offended by anyone and anything, a simple rule has to be followed. If you're offended without being criticized, you are the critic. And now you definitely deserve to be criticized and harassed and whatever other forms of violence it turns into. It's totally allowed against you. Which is weird that criticism actually can turn into violence. However, there is another thing. You can definitely allow criticism, but this requires consent. And you can disallow everything else, right? So if you give consent to criticism, but you say, well, but we're going to leave other types of violence behind, right? You make a handshake and you're like, okay, now we can criticize each other. We have a lot of things to improve. We're going to pick each other apart because we consented. We're going to listen to each other, right? That's great. You can do that. So, and this is one of those things that I actually want to do in general, just to roast people. But they have to give consent. And I said in Ant Phantom's Discord, these people have to give consent because it is a form of harassment in a way. If it goes out of limb. But again, people can back away from me. People can say I'm an asshole and just back away from me, and I cannot do anything. I cannot chase them down. I mean, they have the power to block me. Anything I say. So, in a way, I believe I was criticized and I was banned for a wrong reason. This is why I defended myself. This is why I criticized eternity for doing such a silly thing. So we've talked about the fear of death. Suicide rates are only going to rise, huh? We had the Cold War, we now have a hot war. I love playing with these yin and yang bullshit things. We had a war that was directed on us. Now we're just like, okay, we can do it ourselves. We can have a war between ourselves. I don't know, it's just a fucking pun. Don't take it too seriously. I don't know. I usually take concepts and see maybe it's gonna work, maybe it's gonna be funny and memorable. That's it. So Is this trick falling apart? I don't know. I also go out a limb and say that the spirit world is waiting for them to get an opportunity, for any spirit to get an opportunity to live again. Like, that's a big deal. If someone allows you to live again, like, wow. And authorities who have inserted themselves and allowed or created population explosion, or manifested that, tricked a lot of people into population explosion, perhaps they have been rewarded by maybe evil spirits, maybe just spirits in general. And that may be the ultimate power of Satanism, is just tricking people into having children, creating some kind of fear. I still don't exactly know what that fear is. Is it fear of death? Really that impulsive? What sparked people into making all these children? Is it like the world wars that happened and immediately people created a bunch of children out of fear of war? I mean, I cannot put it all together, so that's a thing for another episode, basically. But holy shit, this is a big deal. This is crazy big deal, because it reveals everything about what's going on and how to protect yourself, how to criticize others when you're allowed to criticize others, and how you're not supposed to be criticized yourself. If you feel like you're being criticized, you can quickly point out. And it's not about, oh, you have to respect my privacy or whatever, or you have to not be rude. It's like, it's a very specific thing. And I hope I explained how obvious it is and how many pillars it has to support itself, this argument that you are not supposed to be criticized because you live in a society. Until you sign up any contracts, you can just live your life. And if you let other people live your life, you will not get a consequence of karma where they want to try to kill you. And because they feel criticized, right? So they have to defend themselves. It's totally fine. Whether they involve police or they try to handle it themselves, it's their choice. Everyone has total freedom. And once people realize what freedom they have, it is showtime.